What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing a state of the market and stock picks for October 24th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as I do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. Now, very choppy day. We are essentially coming into essentially the trend line, the short-term trend line. The real question is can we break above it? Tomorrow, what we really need to do is get above that 38.18 tomorrow. If we can open above that, I think we got a pretty clear shot. Again, this is just the short-term trend we got here. We got a bigger term trend that we keep getting rejected from as well. So we're going to have to see what we get tomorrow. There is a lot of hope, especially with China releasing numbers that their GDP growth beats. I think there's a lot of discrepancies in what's going on there. There's also a lot of manipulation going on with the yen right now as well. The same thing we've seen with Bank of England trying to manipulate their bonds so the financial system doesn't crumble. Again, it works fine and dandy until it doesn't. So we have to see. Time will tell if these things do continue to push up. But with that being said, we are major earnings, and rightfully so. We are in the zone here going into tomorrow. We have quite a few earnings actually tomorrow. To be honest, I know there's Microsoft. We have Google. We have, like I said, a couple. Let me pull that up real quick. We have Microsoft, Google, Enphase, Visa, Chipotle, Shop. These are at close. UPS is tomorrow morning. UPS can actually set the pace tomorrow. If they end up like FedEx, we could be in for essentially a shit show tomorrow. And then add more fuel with Microsoft and Google, potentially. Again, we're trying to build some sort of cushion in case worst case scenario does happen. Again, the whole spiel with China's GDP, you're trying to provide hopium right now. The market lives off hopium right now. We've been pivoting essentially from this point last Friday. We've been pivoting because of a potential pivot is what has been about move that since we have two monetary policies left, that we'll have one more 75, and then after that one we will slow it down. But people are taking that and running with it, despite understanding that what really needs to happen is the core needs to change a lot between now and then. We'll have to see. Again, we're going to get monetary policy on the 2nd, and then on the 13th, I believe it is when we have our next core, and that will help guide us into what the next move is. But nonetheless, expectations are pretty much in the dirt, so we'll see. Anything is, if you show up in our present, that accounts for things being great. So again, right now, it doesn't have to make sense, but just understand there's a lot of bad going on, and when you have a lot of bad, people just want some hope, and when they get hope, that's what pumps the market right now. So with all that being said, what we're looking at right now is, again, we need to open up on that level. Again, we need to either one, break this, or two, break back down. Could potentially fall back to the 3,700. Again, that's a pretty big drop. But I think we're waiting on earnings to see what happens here. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we continue to float around this 37.87 tomorrow. To this 37.56 tomorrow. So we got about a 30-point spread here. Could be bouncing around tomorrow before we actually get a bigger move out of that. So we'll see there. Not going to go over Bitcoin. The dollar has been pretty flat, sitting at the 112. Again, you can say that's a break or not a break. It really depends on how this opens tomorrow. If this thing does start to run, again, the market's going to start to come down quite a bit more. Bitcoin, again, there's no point talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just been kind of stable around that 19K mark. It fluctuates between 18 and 20K roughly. So that's kind of where we're at there. Again, oil still fluctuating around 85. Tesla, really interesting. Tesla's been holding that 200 extremely well. It actually dipped below 200 very briefly today and then just held. Again, the market is waiting for the next move. We need some good earnings. If we can get some good earnings, we could have one hell of a rally. I would believe that we would rally very strongly for the remainder of the week. If we do get some good earnings into next week and then till the second, ultimately, I don't even think the second one matter at that point. I think more so it would matter what the core was at that point, because I think monetary policy is starting to lose its weight. It's my honest opinion, especially because we're getting hammered with 75-point basis moves every time. The market's used to it. It doesn't care unless it's a 100-point or a 50-point basis move. The market will make a big move off of that. And again, aside from that, we need a core. The core is still very, very heavily weighted, obviously, to try to determine where inflation is going from here. So, again, tomorrow, I don't know if we're going to have a big move in the morning. Again, I think we're going to consolidate until we get Microsoft and Google, kind of determine what goes on there. Again, if there's anything good, actually UPS might be able to dictate that. I take that back. UPS might dictate that. That's, again, pre-market. It might hold some weight. It might scare some people. Might pull us back down. So just be mindful of that. It could have strong potential there. BA, again, let's look like kind of like a ascending wedge here. Again, it's fall on the market very closely, but could be a potential ascending wedge that you are forming here. So this thing could potentially get some. It's really just a channel, nothing more than that. I mean, I'm again not a huge fan of trading BA, as all logic goes out of the window when you trade BA. Patterns do not work with BA, and BA just does its own thing. So with that being said, we do have JPM. Again, banks still look really strong. We are coming into resistance, though. That's the problem. You got that 124. Again, this thing needs to gap up over this, or we're not going to do that. I think the market's going to hover around here until it gets earnings. And then when it gets earnings, it'll make that judgment whether it wants to pop over this or we're going to start selling back off. I think all the market general sentiment is just that. It's kind of floating around resistance, really kind of determining if we get good news or not, and then make a move from there. Again, the market isn't going to wait all the way till the next monetary policy, but earnings hold a lot of weight, especially things are good. If things are good, we can really rip. Things are bad, we'll just correct back down to 3,600 until we hear something, either one good or one bad. It makes things even worse. So again, I don't see any all-time highs happening anytime soon, but you never know. The way this market is, it is like a penny stock, and hopium is extremely potent in this market. So just be mindful of that. But aside from that, have a great day. Go ahead and drop a like button. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.